Well, Toronto Police and Crime Stoppers are launching a hate crime awareness campaign. Let's go live to police headquarters for that announcement.
Before we continue, I'd like to take a minute to recognize this day, April 9th, known as Vimy Ridge Day, to commemorate the historical sacrifices that were made by so many. I'd like to take this time to recognize some of our honored guests who will be sharing their remarks with you. Toronto Police Service Board Member Nick Migliore, Deputy Chief of Toronto Police Service Robert Johnson, Superintendent of Intelligence Service Catherine Stevenson, and the Chair of Toronto Crime Stoppers, Mr. Sean Swarton. As well, we'd like to recognize members of the Toronto Police Service Board, Toronto Police Service Command and members, Toronto Police Association, the Toronto Crime Stoppers Board and team, our policing partners, members of the community and our stakeholders, and of course you, the media. Thank you all for your continued support and partnership to the Toronto Crime Stoppers program and dedication to address public safety. At this time, I would like to introduce the Toronto Police Service Board member, Mr. Nick Migliore, to share his remarks.
Good morning. Deputy Chief Johnson, Superintendent Stevenson, Toronto Crime Stoppers Board, Sean Swarton, Chair, members of the media and community. On behalf of the Toronto Police Services Board Chair Ann Morgan, it is my honor to be here today, this media launch of a critically important and very topical hate crime awareness campaign. Today's event is being hosted by Toronto Crime Stoppers in collaboration with the board and the Toronto Police Service. It's a testament to the tremendous significance that we attach to this issue. We know that in recent months, as a result of the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, we have seen a significant and very alarming increase in hate crime, and in particular anti-Semitic, anti-Muslim hate crimes across Toronto. The board is very much in support of Chief Demkiw, who has repeatedly stated that hateful behavior, criminality will categorically not be tolerated in the city. The service will pursue any alleged or suspected cases of hate crime and violence. As he has forcibly expressed, and the board very much concurs, hatred will have no place in the city. This is a principle of paramount priority, and indeed the theme of today's event. Hate crimes weigh heavily on the entire communities. It's one that resonates profoundly. The impact of hate crimes in our communities is powerful, destructive, and deep. We know that the impact of crime motivated by hate is significant, far-reaching, extending far beyond physical and emotional trauma suffered by the victim, affecting members of the community, being targeted, and beyond. The Toronto Police Service and the Hate Crime Unit will aggressively pursue any alleged or suspected incidents of hate crime or hate-motivated behavior in the city. We support the Chief's deployment of additional resources for the Toronto Police Service's Hate Crime Unit, which investigates hate-motivated crime to bring those responsible to justice. And we call on members of the public to bring hate crimes to light. The more eyes and ears that we have in the community to report hate crimes, the better position we're able to deter and eliminate all acts of expressions and hate crime in our communities. Residents are encouraged to report any allegations of hate-motivated incidents to the police for investigation. And of course, should you have information and you wish to report anonymously, we ask you to call Crime Stoppers. We know that the key to truly safer communities is an ongoing and meaningful partnership between public and police. We encourage this as this is of paramount importance. While the scourge of rising hate crimes represents significant public safety challenge, I have faith in Chief Demkiw and our police service to aggressively expose and pursue any suspected incidents of hate-motivated behavior and Torontonians to call out hate wherever they see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Migliore, for those comments. At this time, we'd like to introduce the Deputy Chief of Police, Mr. Robert Johnson.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. I am pleased to be here today to speak about this important campaign that encourages reporting of hate crimes while also bringing awareness to the devastating impact hate crimes can have on our communities. We are pleased to be collaborating with the Toronto Crime Stoppers and the Toronto Police Services Board on this campaign. As you have heard on many occasions, the alarming increase of hate crimes in our city, which prides itself on its diversity, is unprecedented. There was a global rise in hate crimes in 2022 and 2023, and a similar trend also continues to be experienced right here in Toronto. Since October the 7th, service members have attended approximately 941 hate crime calls for service, and there have been 216 hate crime occurrences, resulting in 72 arrests and 182 charges related to those hate crime occurrences. We are attending an average of 155 hate crime calls for service a month. And while we saw a reduction in calls for service for hate crimes in December and January, unfortunately we saw a 67% increase for calls in February. Of the reported hate crimes so far in 2024, over half are anti-Semitic, and last month was the highest number of anti-Semitic occurrences for the past 3 years. The second highest bias category this year is that of the 2S LGBTQI plus hate crime, followed by anti-Black. These categories are followed by anti-Muslim, anti-Arab, anti-Palestinian hate crimes. It is important for us to highlight the underreporting of hate crimes. While underreporting of all categories of hate is a concern, I know from speaking with people in our communities that Islamophobia is a significant concern, and given our statistics, I'm concerned about the substantial underreporting in this area. We have had 5 reports this year, which is not at all reflective of what we're hearing in conversation with members of our Muslim communities. We continue to engage with our communities whenever we can, and we are looking at ways to improve access to reporting incidents of hate. The impact of crime motivated by hate is far-reaching. It extends beyond the physical and emotional trauma suffered by the victim, affecting all members of the targeted community and beyond. This Crime Stoppers campaign, in addition to building awareness of the impact of hate-motivated crimes on entire communities, encourages people to report hate crimes and other forms of criminality. Concerned citizens who see something and say something, whether by calling the police or making an anonymous tip through Crime Stoppers, play an essential role in preventing and addressing crime in our city. We will continue to investigate each and every instance of hate, and we will continue to encourage all members of our neighborhoods and communities to report all incidences of hate. Thank you to the Toronto Crime Stoppers for their partnership, leadership, and continued support of our efforts to enhance public safety and to support stronger and safer communities.
Deputy Johnson, thank you for those comments. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Superintendent of Intelligence Services, Catherine Stevenson, to share her comments.
Thank you. Good morning. Today, I want to speak about the concerning rise in hate crime in Toronto, the proactive measures being taken by the Toronto Police Service, and the importance of community outreach and reporting. To start, I want to recognize Toronto's diversity, which is considered to be our greatest asset and is one of the foundations of our resiliency against hate. International conflicts have led to fears, tensions, and sometimes acts of discrimination and violence. Individuals who harbor prejudiced views feel emboldened or justified to express their biases. Hate knows no boundaries, and its effects extend beyond the immediate victims. Hate-motivated crimes have impact on a much larger than the singular offense, whether it be graffiti, harassment, or assault. Regardless of whether these incidents meet the legal threshold of hatred, the fact remains that hate is evolving in our communities and is very concerning to police. To better address the impact, we need a community to respond to these hate crimes. As the deputy mentioned, we have notable increase in hate crimes since October 7th. In response, TPS has implemented a number of measures. The Hate Crimes Unit has been expanded from 6 members to a team of 32, enhancing our ability to investigate and engage with the community. We have introduced several community outreach initiatives to encourage reporting, including the launch of hate-motivated graffiti intake form. The form is an online tool that provides the community an alternative method to reporting hate-motivated graffiti. Educational resources, including our hate crime video series and multilingual pamphlets, have been developed to raise awareness. We established command posts in areas experiencing an increase in hate crime, where police officers are accessible to the local community members and to answer questions. Community outreach is taking place in schools, businesses, places of worship to provide reassurance and increase comfort around reporting. We are providing education to government agencies, academics, media outlets, and community groups to promote hate crime awareness. And training has recently been provided to our parking enforcement officers, auxiliary officers, and communication services, ensuring that all of our members are able to identify hate and report it. The reporting of hate crimes is important for many reasons. It not only triggers an investigation, but allows us to identify trends, provide community support, address public safety concerns, and implement preventative measures. Hate crime data is also used to support data-driven deployments of officers to areas where the communities need us most. The reasons for underreporting are varied and include a lack of understanding of what constitutes a hate crime, feelings of shame, the fear of retribution, and the uncertainty about our justice system. This is why we will continue to build trust by working alongside our community partners to break down barriers and to develop relationships. In conclusion, we urge Toronto residents to report incidents of hate to the police, call our non-emergency line, submit an online hate-motivated graffiti intake form, or contact our partners at Toronto Crime Stoppers to report anonymously. Together, we can stand against hate in all forms. Thank you.
We've been listening to Toronto Police alongside Crime Stoppers. They're launching a hate campaign, a hate crime awareness campaign, releasing some new data that was, and re-echoing some of the data that was released by police, basically saying that they are dealing with hundreds of calls per month, about 155 calls per month when it comes to hate crimes, a 67% increase in calls in February, which was the largest increase when it comes to reporting anti-Semitic hate crimes. And number 2 on the list of targeted groups was LGBT, number 3, anti-Black racism, and number 4, anti-Muslim. And they're also highlighting some concerns about the underreporting of some of these hate crimes.